Kirtan. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo Guru Deva, Jayo Guru Deva, Jayo Guru Deva, Jayo Guru Deva. Gurudev, 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 Jayo Jayo Gurudev. Jai. Shri Shri Radha Neela Madhava ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Giridhari ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhani ki Jai. Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Ananda Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I seek all your blessings, Prabhu, Mataji, and all the Vaishnavas before I start the class. Please forgive me if I make any offenses or any shortcoming on my part. Please bless me that I'll speak appropriately today to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada and all the Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Che. Together, can we sing together? Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devin Saraswatin Vyasam Tato Jayamudirdayat Nata Prayechu Avatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 3, Text 32. Kvachit rudanti achyuta chintaya kvachit dasanti nandanti vadanti alaukikaha nrityanti gayanti anusilayanti jam bhajanti tu shanim param itiya nirvrittata kvachit rudanti uchanti chityanti kvachit achyodachintanti chit dasyanti nandanti vadanti kalauchita kalaukita Niryanti gayanti anusilayanti jam. Bhavanti tu sinam param itya nirvita. Devotees, please. Kvachit viranti antidara chintayat pachit. Kvachit rudanti achyuta chidantya kvachit. Dasanti kasmakantanti vadanti alokila. Niryanti gayanti anusilayanti jam. Paranti parasmin parameti nirvita. Kvachit janti achyuta chintaya kvachit. Dasanti nandanti vadanti alaukika. Niryanti gayanti anusilayanti jam. Bhavanti tu sanam param itya nirvitra. Kvachit rudanti achyuta chindaya kvachit. Dasanti nandanti vadanti alaukika. Niryanti gayanti anusilayanti jam. Bhavanti tu saminam param itya nirvita. Kvachit vrudanti achyuta chintaya kvachit. Dasanti nandati vandanti alaukika. Kvachit, sometimes, rudanti, they cry, Achyuta, of the infallible, Supreme Lord, Chintaya, by the thought, Kvachit, sometimes, Hasanti, they laugh, Nandanti, take great pleasure, Vadanti, speak, Alaukika, acting amazingly, Nrityanti, they dance, Gayanti, sing, Anusilan yanti, and imitate, Ajam, the unborn, Bhavanti, they become, Tusnim, silent, Param, the supreme, Etya, obtaining, Nirvrita, freed from distress. Translation: having achieved love of Godhead, the devotees sometimes cry out loud, absorbed in thoughts of the infallible Lord. Sometimes they laugh, feel great pleasure, speaks out loud to the Lord, dance or sing. Such devotees, having transcended material conditioned life, sometimes imitate the unborn supreme by acting out his pastimes, and sometimes achieving his personal audience, they remain peaceful and silent. Please repeat, having achieved love of Godhead, the devotees sometimes cry out loud, absorbed in thoughts of the infallible Lord. Sometimes they laugh, feel great pleasure, speak out loud to the Lord, dance or sing. Such devotees, having transcendent material, conditioned life, sometimes imitate the unborn Supreme by acting out his pastimes, and sometimes achieving his personal audience, they remain peaceful and silent. Purport by the glorious disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained the symptoms of love of Godhead. Rudanti, the devotees cry, thinking another day has passed, and still I could not obtain Krishna. Then, what will I do? Where will I go? From whom shall I inquire? And who can possibly help me reach Krishna? Asanti, it is late at night, the sky is dark, and Krishna is determined to steal from the house of one of the elderly gopis. He is hiding underneath a tree in a corner of the courtyard belonging to one of the cowherdmen. Although Krishna thinks that he is completely concealed, he suddenly hears a voice from one of the elderly members of the family. Who are you there? Who are you? I say. Thus Krishna has been caught, and he begins to flee the courtyard. When this humorous scene is revealed to the devotee begins to laugh heartily. Nandanti, when Krishna actually reveals his transcendental form to the devotee experiences the highest transcendental bliss. Vadanti, the devotee says to the Lord, O Krishna, after so many days I have finally achieved you. When all the devotees' senses are absorbed in Sri Krishna, the devotees have successfully transcended the material condition of life. This indicated by the word alaukika. Alaukika, or the transcendental platform, is explained by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Mam chayo vyabicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatiyaitan brahma bhutyaya kalpate. One who engaged in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstances, at once transcends the mode of material nature, thus comes to the level of Brahman. According to Sridhara Swami, Ajam Harim Anusilanyanti Tal Lilam Abhinayanti. Anusilanayanti indicates that out of extreme ecstasy, the devotees sometimes imitate or act out in the pastime of the Supreme Lord. These ecstatic symptoms was manifested by the gopis in Vrindavan during Krishna's absence. In the 21st verse of this chapter, it was stated that one who has understood that there is no happiness either on earth or in material heaven must surrender at the lotus feet of the bona fide spiritual master. Tasman gurum prapadyante jinustu sreya uttamam. The following verses gave many details, instruction regarding the activities of bona fide disciple. Now, this verse is describing the mature fruit of devotional service, namely pure love of Godhead. Everyone has the opportunity to come to this platform of transcendental bliss by taking the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna's representative on his head. One should give up the mentality of envy and false prestige and humbly take shelter of the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The spiritual master is to be considered the incarnation of Lord's mercy. There is absolutely no doubt that a sincere soul who serves a bona fide spiritual master will achieve the highest perfection of life, Sreya Uttamam. He will enjoy eternal bliss and knowledge in the personal abode of Lord Krishna. Kvachit rudanti achyuta chidantyanti kvachit dasanti nandanti vadanti alaukika nuryanti gayanti anusilanyanti jam bhavanti tushnam param yati nirvatya. Having achieved love of Godhead, the devotee sometimes cries out loud, absorbed in thoughts of infallible Lord. Sometimes they laugh, feel great pleasure, speak out loud to the Lord, dance or sing. Such devotees, having transcended material conditioned life, sometimes imitate the unborn Supreme by acting out his pastimes and sometimes achieving his personal audience. They remain peaceful and silent. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Tamal Krishna Goswami iti namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Devin Gaurvani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Patsajya Deshatarini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vaishadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Vancha Kalpataribhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Mukam Karo Jivachalam Bangam Langeya Jagri Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Jai. Hare Krishna. Is anyone here first time? I'd like to welcome Prabhu God and Prabhu here. He's from Dallas Temple. For many years he was staying there. Now he moved to San Antonio. So we welcome you to Houston, Iskcon Houston. I pray that you come back again, spend more time here. So this is a very, very beautiful, important verse, and I don't even feel qualified enough to explain this verse. It is explained here that the mood of a pure devotee, a mood of pure devotee, how they behave. There are three different stages of devotees. The Kanishta devotee, the Madhya devotee, and the Uttama Adhikari. And here it is described what a Uttama Adhikari experience. They sometimes feel happy, sometimes they cry, sometimes they enact the pastimes of Krishna. And the best example is that Krishna is given here is the gopis. The gopis are the most highest example here that that through their meditation, through their devotion, through their practice, pure love for Krishna, they attain such a great emotions. And one thing we should understand that we cannot imitate the gopis' emotions. We can greatly follow in the footstep of the devotees, of the devotees, of the devotees, of the devotees of the gopis. What is that word? Gopi? Father Kamalo? Dasa Anudasa. Lord Chaitanya himself, as Krishna himself, that Lord Chaitanya, he himself telling us that we should follow in the path of the servant of the gopis, servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis. So it is risky to take or imitate any emotions here, it is very dangerous in one way. So we should always take shelter of another devotee. It is stated in Prema Bhakti cannot be achieved just by sadhana alone, but through the grace of the devotees, through the grace of the Lord, one can achieve that. How? Because when we practice sadhana, we are absorbed. If we are practicing ourselves, there's no one to correct us. But if we have devotees who can check on us, whether we are chanting our rounds properly, are we reading Srila Prabhupada book, so the devotees are there to check on us. So in that way, we can progress in our spiritual life. And also it's mentioned that the devotees association is very crucial to advance in our spiritual life. It says taking shelter of one's bona fide spiritual master is very, very important. And the beautiful part I like here is it's mentioned that one should take the dust from the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas. One time I was listening to Srila Gurudev class. In the class, Gurudev mentioned that we should be very careful about Vaishnava aparat, Jiva aparat, any aparat, but Vaishnava aparat is the highest. So we should be very careful. Even a devotee may not feel offended, but the dust at the lotus feet of the Vaishnava will become offended. And the dust will go and complain to Krishna. So in the spiritual world, the dust also talk, the grass talk, everything is alive. Isn't it amazing? It's so unfortunate. Many times I think about it. Why? It's such a beautiful, amazing place. Why I came down here? Why I left that platform and why I came down here and why still I'm not trying my best, why I'm not putting any effort to go back, even to make an effort, why I'm not doing that. So, but verses like this, Bhagavatam and the association of the devotees always inspire me and give me hope that one day I will develop, one day it is possible that through the mercy of Vaishnavas, I will develop one day to chant Krishna's name properly. And we have seen that again and again in our movement, that when you read Prabhupada Lilamrita, when I first time read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, it inspired me so much. Even though I was born in a Hindu background, I didn't know anything about spiritual life. All we know is our grandparents' religion. What the grandparents taught our parents, that is passed down. That is our disciplic succession. But we really didn't know what is really Bhagavad Gita, what is real scriptures. But when I read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita and how all these devotees from all over the world take up Krishna consciousness and spread the potency they had, Prabhupada disciple, to spread Krishna consciousness worldwide, it was amazing, and I want to be part of this movement. And when I read that, and I used to get BTG magazine, and I always look for the temples site. After reading all the pastime, I'll see where are the temples. And then I look at the world map, I say, which way I can go to this temple, which way? I was a school student at that time. So when in my geography class, I used to see that. And I used to put Bhagavad Gita in my class, and we usually have reading period. So I used to put Bhagavad Gita and read, and my teacher used to come and ask, do you understand what is written there? And so it really inspired me so much, and still inspiring me seeing so many devotees, even so many years later, Kalakanta Prabhu and Mataji, they are here preaching. This is so inspiring. And there's so many Prabhupada disciples like that And their disciple also doing so many wonderful activities and devotional service in our movement. And taking the dust, I think Bhakti Vinod Thakur, is it Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Sudha Bhakata Charana Renu Prema Latikar. Bhakti Vinod Thakur songs, right? The dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee increases our devotion. Taking the dust. There's 3 things we should take to advance in our spiritual life. Anyone want to share? Anybody want to? What are the 3 things we have to take? Louder? The remnants from the devotees' remnants. 2, the dust of the lotus feet. 3, water. Charanamrita. Bathe the lotus feet. Krishna himself showed an example when Sudama Brahmana, he came to Dwaraka. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but what he did? He bathed the lotus feet of Sudama Brahman and took the water on his forehead. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he don't have to do all this, but he did that. And that's a wonderful pastime that Krishna had headache. Do you all know this pastime? Krishna had headache in Dwaraka. And Narada Muni. Narada Muni is the most fascinating, amazing devotee. He can travel everywhere. He can go to heavenly planet, spiritual world, and he's so compassionate, he can go to the Patal Loka and deliver all the fallen conditioned soul. He went to Dwaraka to see Krishna, and Krishna was having terrible headache. And Narada Muni said, Krishna, what's going on? How can I help you to solve this headache, relieve you from this headache? And Krishna said, the only thing can help me is that please, the dust from the lotus feet of my devotees, if I put that on my head, my headache is gone. And Narada Muni heard that, he put his both hand in his ears. Krishna, the dust from the feet of the devotees on your head, how is that possible? This is aparad. But Krishna said, no, that is the only medicine for me. If you can find that, bring it. And then he said, it's easy. I will go and ask your devotees. They will give immediately. So first he went in Dwaraka, right? He went to Dwaraka and he asked all the devotees. First from the guards to the residents, everybody simply closed their ears and said, no, this is aparad. Even Narada Muni, please don't even say that, please. And then he went to the queens, all the queens. And each and every one say, no, he's our Pati, Krishna, Supreme Pati, we cannot do that. And then he came back, Narada Muni came back and he said, Krishna, no one is giving the dust, what can I do? And then Krishna said, find somewhere else, if you cannot find here, go somewhere else. Narada Muni actually went different universe. When I was listening to Gurudev class in regard to this too, he went to different universe. He went to Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and everybody was in anxiety and little angry with Narada Muni also for asking that. And every single Vaishnavas, every demigod said, no, we cannot give. And Narada Muni was so disappointed and he came back to Krishna and he said, Krishna, it's not happening. Nobody is giving. How can I do this? And Krishna said, did you try Vrindavan? And he also went to Mathura before that. And go and try in Vrindavan. So he went to Vrindavan, he asked everyone. Nanda Baba, he asked Mother Yashoda. Dinabandhu Prabhu says this very beautifully. And nobody wants to give. He said, but then he went to the gopis. And the gopis are simple gopis. They look seemingly simple. They're just churning butter and cooking and doing regular work, regular chores. And when they heard Narada Muni coming, they went up towards him and said, Narada, they first pay their obeisances, and they said, you're coming from Dwaraka, how is our Krishna doing? And Narada Muni said, oh, Krishna is not doing well. Immediately the gopis said, what happened? What happened? What we can do? What we can do? And Narada Muni said, Krishna is having a headache, but the headache can be only gone if you give the dust from your lotus feet. And immediately from your feet. And the gopis immediately gathered. All the gopis were gathering piles of dust, piles and piles in their saris, and they were bringing to Narada Muni and giving to him. And they said, take as much you want. If as long Krishna is well, that's all we want. And Narada Muni said, wait a minute. Do you know, if you give this dust from your feet, all of you are going to hell? And the gopis said, we don't mind going to hell. We can go as many times to hell if Krishna is happy. Gopis ki jai. And this is the pure devotees, the love of the gopis. They don't worry about anything. They only worry how to keep Krishna happy. And these gopis are not ordinary. It described in Brihad Bhagavatamrita how these gopis qualities, abilities, Narada Muni discussed with Krishna in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. It's amazing to read that pastimes. So at the same time, we cannot imitate, but we can pray that one day we will develop the love for Krishna, just like how love for serving for Krishna's devotees. That's our goal, to develop the love to serve Krishna's devotees. I remember in 92, that was my first time in Gaur-Mandal Parikrama. It was an amazing experience that all the devotees, all the Maharajas, all the devotees from all over the world stays together and singing the pastime of Krishna and chanting. And one time, I think one of the Maharaj was telling that the quality of the dust, the quality of the prasadam, and to take this will make you advance. So anybody who are anxious here to advance in your spiritual life, you should take the dust, the remnant, and the water from a pure devotee. And you should see, the minute Maharaj finished the sentence, everybody was rolling on the ground. Everybody was throwing the dust. I remember Gurudev, Giriraj Maharaj, Jaipataka Maharaj, they took heap of dust and throwing at everyone. It was like holy festival. And when the Maharajas were taking prasadam, all the devotees were standing right behind them. I was amazed. Every single devotee, you can see, they were lining up behind. And that time I didn't know. I was very new. And I said, what are they doing there? And I was looking at them. And they immediately, the minute Maharajas finish their prasadam, devotees just go and grab the banana leaf. And they chew the banana leaf, even the stem of the banana leaf. After the third day, they have to put restriction because some devotees were putting hand in the Maharaj prasadam while they were eating. They were that anxious. So I was praying that even I can develop 1% of the anxious and enthusiasm of those devotees, I will be successful in my spiritual life. So we should be always anxious to serve the devotees. We should be always how we can develop service for the Vaishnavas. It says here that by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. So if we serve the devotees, we will develop the love to chant. Jai Shri Radha Nila Madhava Ki Jai. And at the same time, we also take the association, sadhu sangha, sarva sthai, lava matra, sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hai. The Vedic of all revealed scripture is that by even a moment association with the pure devotees, one can attain all success. So the key is association, association, association of the devotees. Sometimes we go through so many difficulties, even we experience unpleasant experience sometimes among devotees, and sometimes some devotees leave. It is very unfortunate that if that happens, but if we see something like that, we should always encourage devotees, give them association, give them prasadam, and bring them back. But I always remember Srila Gurudev was telling this past story that when you're going in the ship, the ocean is heavy, the ocean is rough, and there's so many timingala, shark, so many dangerous creatures in the ocean. And when we are in the ocean, we are traveling together in a big ship, and we have seasickness because of the rough ocean. Sometimes we throw up, sometimes we see somebody throwing up, sometimes they have diarrhea, sometimes someone have fever. And if we see that everybody around us are throwing up and sick, and we decided to jump out of the ship, what happened to us? One, we drown if we don't know how to swim, or how long you can swim in the ocean. Two, we can eaten by the shark or timingalas, whales. So rather, we stay in the ship. We know where's the destination. We know who's the captain, Srila Prabhupada. He is the captain of the ship. And where is the destination? Goloka Vrindavan. And if we stay in the ship, tolerating the sickness, and help each other. If they are sick, how we can help to that devotee. And we tolerate, and we stay in this ship is guarantee that we are going back to Godhead through the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, the captain, and the commanders, our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada disciples. And they will definitely bring us. On our own, we have no strength to go back to Godhead. Through the association of the devotees, we can go back to Godhead. And in our lifetime, we have seen how this movement, this process, bhakti process, is so powerful, and it is working. We have seen in our own eyes that so many devotees leaving the body in our movement have seen, like we experienced with Mother Kirtida when she was leaving the body. So many devotees from all over the world, they came to be with her. Why they came to be with her? Because she was serving. She is the best example. That day, Saranga Thakur Prabhu was asking an example of a Vaishnava anybody knows from the Bhagavatam. For me, my Bhagavatam example is Mother Kirtida, because we witnessed her serving. She was such a simple personality. Anybody knows her. She will not give any class. She will not do big Sankirtan or Bujari service. She always was behind the service. Any service, is somebody doing Sankirtan, she will go and help that devotee to bring prasadam for them. She will drop the devotee in the certain spot where they have to do Sankirtan. If they have children, she will babysit their children. And if the devotee is cooking, she will come, buy boga, cut the vegetable, clean the pots. If the pujari is doing deity service, she will go and keep the jewelries. So she always was very service attitude. She's the greatest example for me. And even devotees who were inimical towards her, she was so humble, not only to the devotees, even to those who were not in Iskcon. She was serving everyone. And her final destiny, she went back to Godhead. She saw Krishna right in the room where we were staying. Narada Muni came, Krishna Balaram came, and everyone came, all the devotees from over the world. She was able to see, we witnessed this. So this process is so powerful. This process works. So we don't, my request and humble begging to every devotees who are listening, that please don't get discouraged if anything, difficulty comes in your life, or you have misunderstanding with some devotees or experience, but this process work, keep a Prabhupada book with you, chant your rounds, and take association from bona fide devotees, and going back to Godhead is certain. And with that one conclusion, I will conclude here. Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of a bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusion of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of conclusion. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual master. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 11:3-21, Prabhupada to King Nimi. So taking initiation in a bona fide sampradaya and a bona fide spiritual master is very important to advance in the spiritual life. And I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual master, the deliverer of all fallen soul, whose mercy turns the dumb into an eloquent speaker and enable the lame to cross the mountain. So, Hare Krishna. So, I end the class here, to open to any discussion, any comments, any additions, any. Kalakanta Prabhu, would you like to add?
This section begins with this verse, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyate, surrendering to the bona fide spiritual master, and then brings us up to this verse where the devotee is laughing and singing and experiencing all of these emotions. So how do we recognize when we are approaching this exalted stage?
What's the question? I thought you were going to... Radha Krishna Prabhu, you want to answer that? Prabhu, can you repeat that again, please? I don't...
We're just asking, how do we recognize when we're approaching the exalted stage being described in this verse? So, Radha Krishna Prabhu, only you can answer this question.
The way I see it, that the person practicing generally cannot see or does not feel that he's making the advancement. It's the devotees surrounding him or her, they can recognize that. And therefore, they will show so much more enthusiasm and faith in that individual. And by their behavior, the devotee will think, I must have made some mistakes. And I'm taking all this attention away from Krishna. And so they will become more and more humble in that way. So externally everyone can see this devotee is advancing, but the person practicing is always feeling he is most fallen, and somehow Krishna is testing him more and more. Yeah, that's how I see it. Hare Krishna.
Kalakanta Prabhu, is there any pastime you can tell us about Srila Prabhupada experiencing these emotions?
Well, Jamuna Prabhu told us a story. I have to call her Jamuna Prabhu because I called her Mother Jamuna once, and she said, "Yes, Father Kalakanta." She saw Srila Prabhupada. She looked in his room on some circumstance, and he was standing in front of a picture of Lord Balaram, and he was striking the pose in the picture as if he was part of the pastime. There was no one around. It's just what he was doing in his privacy was just entering into these pastimes. She saw this and described.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone else?
Thank you so much for the wonderful class. I was reflecting on the goal being the mood of the gopis and having the surrender that just what Krishna wants, whatever Krishna wants, I'll do anything. But if we try to imitate that, it can be, we can exhaust ourselves and we won't be able to continue doing our devotional service in a steady way. So I was wondering what you could say on how to follow in the footsteps of the mood of the gopis and not fall into the trap of trying to imitate them and acting beyond our capacity.
Aslisya va padaratam pinastu mama darshanam armam hatam karotu va yata tata va vidatu lampato mat prananatastu sa evana paraha. Whether you embrace me with love or reject me, you are my Lord birth after birth. So sometimes this really works. When I was serving Srila Gurudev, every day I was get chastisement, every single day. Sometimes it's really, really hard. So this is my mantra, every single day, because mind start telling, because sometimes we experience, why the Guru is nice to some disciple, my god brother, god sister, sometimes he's very harsh on me. Oh, they don't even doing anything, they getting all the glorification, pampering. I'm here doing everything and I'm getting chastised, And so your mind start working in so many crazy ways. These are the offenses, you give little bit, it expands. The mind start expanding in different ways. So I used to go in front of Sri Radha Kala Chanji every single day and I chant, this is the mantra, Aslisya va padam ratam pinastumam. Whether you embrace me with your gentle action or you reject me with your harsh words, I did not even think Krishna that time. I say, Gurudev, I want you to be my eternal Guru, birth after birth. So that, it really helped. It really helped. And the Shishtastakam is the best mantra. Every day chant Shishtastakam, not just recite the Shishtastakam, but meditate on the Shishtastakam. So that gives Tranat api sunichena tarad api sahisnuna amanena manadina kirtane. So when we encounter with the devotees some misunderstanding or we have something we want to do and sometimes even the management or anybody on the matter, just chant Shishtashtaka. Everything Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave, everything in Shishtashtaka, that will help. And association. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Radha Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, regarding following the footsteps, I remember about maybe 30 years ago, Janananda Maharaj was reflecting on what had happened in the early days. So the devotees had read about the 6 Goswamis and how they were only taking rest for 2 hours under a different tree. So one of the devotees in the ashram decided that he would only sleep for 2 hours. So every day he would do that. And eventually everyone was saying, this person is really exalted. So he was doing it 2 hours a day. And then, so during a Sunday feast, they were all having a big roaring kirtan. They were jumping and kirtan. So this devotee was also in the middle jumping. All of a sudden he fell and collapsed. So they all rushed to him. And then they say, what happened? Then he started snoring. So following the footsteps doesn't literally mean you follow. One of the ways I understood is that Mataji was actually saying, Gopir Bhattu Padakamala Dasa Dasa and Dasa. So if you follow the 7 to the 7, indirectly you are following in the footsteps. So by taking shelter of the spiritual master, who is also a servant of the gopis, you are following in the footsteps of the gopis. And the Guru knows what you are capable of and not. And so he or she will guide you accordingly. So I hope that helps. Yeah.
I was listening. Oh, go ahead, Prabhu.
One of my godbrothers told a story about how he joined at the same time another godbrother had joined, and he was a heroin addict, and his godbrother was an architect.
Prabhu,
He was an architect,
Okay.
and this other devotee was a heroin addict. So the heroin addict devotee would get these very nice letters from Srila Prabhupada, "You're a good boy, keep chanting, very good." And the architect would get the letter, "You are a nonsense, why have you done this?" So he could understand this other devotee is more advanced. So we're getting chastised, that is a sign of advancement.
Hare Krishna.
That means we can take it. It means Krishna is purifying us. He's putting the pressure for our further purification.
Yes. That's what I felt every time I get chastised. That time I didn't feel like that. But after many years I realized like how the surgeon, when he's doing surgery, he have to cut you open. It's painful. Sometimes when you are not in the anesthesia, it's very painful. The anesthesia is the Mahamantra, and I'm not in the Mahamantra, so it is painful. But you know he's doing to remove the anarthas, my sinful reaction, birth after birth after birth, and so that's a purification. So I always feel that a blessing. And always I had senior devotees like Radha Krishna Prabhu, and so many devotees were always encouraging me and helping me in Dallas. So, and today, Radha Krishna Prabhu was raising a hand. He wanted to say something.
Just wanted to confirm what Kalakanta Prabhu was saying. When Srila Gurudev Tamakrishna Maharaj was chastising some devotees and they were really disturbed, and he said, "I'm only doing it because I'm helping you." So, and then later on he told me that he never chastises those who can't take it because they become they lose faith or they become inimical towards the spiritual master. So generally we find that we will chastise those who we can help and guide. Otherwise we shouldn't take that position.
Hare Krishna. Just today is Mother Shobha Kishori's birthday, so we'll finish the class and everyone can. Since we are talking about the dust potency of the dust, so I brought dust from Vrindavan, Mayapur, Ekachakra, everywhere. So anyone interested want to take some dust on your head today. It's very auspicious, Chaturmasya. So, thank you so much. Please forgive me for any offenses. Thank you to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarabhyascha kripasintopi evacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Ananda Kodi Vaishnavande ki jai. That's the breakfast. Off this, please.